Today is Sunday, it's long run day. I'm going to do 20k. I kind of just started it, so out in the woods, nice and quiet. 20k. Probably going to run a little bit quicker today because I'm in a little bit of a rush to get home. I've got my Hoka Torrents on, got my stance socks, feeling good. Had a really good night's sleep last night. I think Whoop gave me about 97% recovery or 95% recovery, so that's pretty good. So you just notice the difference. Saturdays for me are really tough days. I thought I'd get really tired from the week. I kind of unwind, so I'm a bit useless on a Saturday. But today, feeling good. The weather's fantastic. It's so warm. I've worn a top, long sleeve top, Montane ones, which I love. But they're just, it's just too hot. But anyway, that's okay. It's nice and comfy anyway, and it wicks away the sweat. So I'm going to crack on before my glasses steam up and go do my 20k. So that was a 20k run, hour and 55 minutes. Average heartbeat was about 130. Bit more of a tempo run that. It was like a 7 RPE. Had a nice warm up and then just pushed quite hard. I actually felt really good today. I had a really good night's sleep. Felt pretty fresh. Had a bowl of porridge, a medium-sized bowl of porridge before I went out. Had a little croissant and a bit of food. Went out a bit early, later than normal. So yeah, it was a really nice run. The weather's fantastic at the moment as well. I think I felt really strong. It's basically the end of my training block, my 3-week training block. It's been 2 weeks and then this week's just been a recovery, so nothing too dramatic. But what I want to dial in on really is my run I did on Thursday. It was a tough workout, a 9 RP workout. It was really, really difficult. I basically got memories of when I used to do cross country when I was a youngster, of getting to that point where your legs are burning, your lungs are burning, you feel sick. You know, my stomach was all over the shop. And the workout started off, you obviously do a warm up and everything like that, and you do a 1 minute hard, 9 RPE, 10 is a sprint, yeah. 1 minute hard and then 1 minute recover, 2 minute hard, 2 minute recover, 3 minute hard, 3 minute recover, and then you go back down the ladder. Do your 2 minutes to recovery, 1-1, and then you repeat that, okay? So it gets really, really difficult. During the 3 minute kind of hard part, that's a long time to keep up to 9 RPE, and you do your utmost, and you do push really, really to the top level. I was thinking, what is happening to my body? Trying to think, is there a way of kind of controlling this? Is there a way of kind of relaxing through this process rather than getting all tense and all, you know, and failing and giving up? Is there a way of overcoming it? Because you see these top runners and all these pros, and you know that we're all going through pain, but it's trying to understand what the body was. So I started digging in and looking into it, and we get all these words: lactate, we get acid, we get there's thresholds, anaerobic, aerobic, and there's loads of stuff to look up. And you know, I'm no expert, I'm no doctor, I'm no professional or anything like that, so you know, all it is just me trying to learn what's happening in my body. So I thought I'd start off by talking about pH on this vlog, because pH, I used to learn pH at chemistry when I was a kid, so it kind of brought back quite a lot of memories. So pH basically stands for potential of hydrogen ions or protons, and its pH levels are measured from a scale of 0 to 14. And I remember this being at school, as acid is the lowest of the scale, so 0 is very, very acidic and 14 is very, very alkaline. I just remember that because acid's a shorter word. What happens when we run and what happens to our pH levels? When we run, our pH levels are dipped down, okay? They dip down quite a lot. Our body wants to be at 7.4, and this is where it gets really interesting. I found it fascinating. So our body is at 7.4, okay, about, okay, give or take. It doesn't want to go any really higher or lower. But if it becomes quite acidic, we feel very tired, we feel very run down, we don't feel very well. And one of the reasons is your body is always trying to get it back to that level of 7.4. It's brilliant. I think it's called homeostasis, okay? And so if you're acidic, you're quite stressed out, you eat badly, you train hard, you produce a lot of acid, and your body's trying to get that back to that 7.4, right? So what it does, it looks for other kind of repair. Well, basically it's calcium carbonate and magnesium is what it's looking for example, and it goes and finds that in your bones. So therefore you get weaker bones, and it's obviously hunting around trying to get you back to that 7.4. Okay, so where's that fit in with running? So it fits in with running because you are producing, so you're producing this acid. So when we let's try and explain this. So when we start running, your pH levels will drop, and as you know, if you are running aerobic, okay, your body is managing everything very well. It's getting enough oxygen in. You're producing a bit of lactate acid or lactic acid, and you're producing a bit of that, but the body can deal with that, churn it out, throw it out as carbon dioxide. However, when you start going really, really hard, you don't get enough oxygen in, you go anaerobic, right? So you haven't got enough oxygen coming in, so the body then goes to other places to find it, glycogen stores, fat burning, things like that. But it produces lactic acid. Lactic acid is lactate and hydrogen ions, and this acid goes into the bloodstream and produces quite an acidic environment, acidosis. So it's all very fancy, these words I've learned, right? But it's fascinating. So the body now is trying to repair itself because that acid is doing damage to our muscle cells, it's doing damage to our fibres. It's not a good place to be. Now, I know when you run, you get like a burning sensation, and I used to think that was lactic acid. Well, reading up on it, it doesn't seem to be lactic acid. They used to say it back in the 70s, but 80s, 90s, they decided that it wasn't the lactic acid which gave you that burn. It's something to do with your nerve endings, inflammation, which is a really big word in sort of, if you're looking at your diet, if you're looking at running, we don't want to get inflamed, we don't want inflammation because that produces pain, it produces problems with our bodies. I can only think like I got injured last year, and my inside my knee got tendonitis, and I can only think that's something to do with inflammation, overuse. Maybe I was running sort of quite acidic. I have quite a stressful life, my diet is okay, but it's that running part which is really interesting. And you're dipping your pH level down, you're going really hard, and does that pH level then recover quickly? Not so sure. It doesn't sound like it does, because all this training we're doing, it's adapting the body, and this training is kind of going to last quite a while. They say up to 12 to 14 days you can still feel that workout, your body's still trying to adapt. But as we repeat this, we are now training our body to adapt quicker. So if you do a workout, two workouts a week, your body's starting to get used to that, churning that lactic acid out of your body. It's starting to get used to repairing all those cells. Those cells, when they get damaged, God knows what happens, because you get very sore legs afterwards, don't you? But they have a lot of damaged cells, and there's these new cells get around it. There's this word stem cell, which I think you've probably heard, which is in the news a lot. But those stem cells go around, start repairing, and apparently as you keep doing this damage, your cells are getting better at doing it. So you're training your body all the time. I think it's absolutely fascinating, right? We're kind of at that stage where when you're running, you're becoming quite acidic, and then I was thinking, well, how, obviously it lasts. Do I need to do something about that pH level? Yeah, so what can we do to really recover from all this? I mean, there's a load of acid going around in our body. That's freaking me out a little bit for a start. I guess first thing is probably lower the intensity. It's pretty difficult for someone like me who's out there running a lot, but you lower the intensity of the running, but that's not really going to happen. Getting the diet right, there's foods which are more alkaline. I know people sometimes drink vinegar in the morning. Don't think I've tried that. It's not really my thing, but there's cucumber, there's tomatoes. I mean, you can look up on the internet loads of different alkaline foods. What else? Basically have a less stressful life. That's hard. So I guess sleep, get more sleep. Probiotic, perhaps you could take one of those. They say that might help out, but I'm not sure about that. So it's not something I'm probably going to do a lifestyle change on, but it's just really interesting when I'm in that zone for 3 minutes, thinking about what's going on in my body and whether that will actually help me get through that pain barrier. I think that it's not so important when I'm doing an ultra, but there are some points, especially in the arc of attrition, there's two or three really steep, nasty hills, and that took me to the point of collapse. It was really, really tough because I wanted to push up those as much as possible. I felt very, very ill. So yeah, so that's kind of all about, all I need to say about pH. So hopefully that's taught you something. Next week, I'm going to be speaking to my coach. Said on Tuesday, we're going to go through and start the new threshold training block. We are into the next zone now. Going to double up on my threshold runs. As I said, feeling good, so I think I can start pushing it a little bit harder. So there'll be an update next week about that, how we're getting on. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hopefully you've watched it to the end. If you have, thank you. Really good. And yeah, leave some comments below. I'd like to hear from you all. So yeah, that's enough from me. Have a good evening.